Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Wallet Wisdom, a podcast presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union. If you're new to the podcast or have been listening for a while now, Wallet Wisdom is designed around breaking down the ins and outs of financial aspects, as well as to help bring answers to some of banking's more complex and complicated questions. I'm one of your hosts, Brett. With me in the studio, we've got Aldina.
Woo-woo.
Man,
so good to be back.
I'm so glad. I'll tell you, I've been lonely without you here on the show. But you and your team, I'll tell you, have been doing incredible things.
Thank you.
Doing so much for our communities, helping serve, get out into all of the different areas that we serve across Michigan and Florida.
Yes.
And just, helping make an impact in our communities and in our nonprofit partners, world. So it's just been incredible. It's been so fun.
It's been a busy summer, and we are now going into fall, and it has definitely not slowed down for us.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. Just today, we were out volunteering at Kids Food Basket, and
that's awesome.
It just makes you feel good. It makes you feel good being part of the community, the impact you're making, the community getting together like that too. You meet new people, you do good, and you feel good at the end of the day.
Cool.
So
that's so fun. And obviously we're kind of getting into the season. It's crazy to think that we're we're into October now, and ending the year here with the holidays, and this is that time of season when there are a lot more needs from our nonprofit partners, I know.
Absolutely.
And being able to get out and help and serve in those ways is really great. And we encourage, of course, our listeners too, if you want to get involved, please check out your local nonprofits that are right around the corner from you, and I'm sure there's lots of opportunities to connect you and even your family and friends to go out and help serve as well and give back. So, but hey, we love talking about so many different things and helping our community. And again, Wallet Wisdom, again, is designed to help bring some of that awareness to our communities. And, there's been so much I know this year, I keep hearing and experiencing. There's just been a bit more of a rise in cost for a lot of different things that we have in our everyday lives. Groceries we know have seen.
I didn't notice that.
No, you did not.
No.
And it's crazy. And, gas seems to kind of still be in a higher zone, and everything's just a little bit more costly. In fact, I've noticed it more with all of my streaming apps that I have. I've got, just about all of them. And now I'm realizing I'm paying more than cable. So.
Oh my goodness. It looks like and sounds like there is time to do a budget health check for you.
Yes. In fact, I'm going to be paying even more attention to today's episode. And I hope listeners do the same because, Aldina, a few months back, actually more at the beginning of the year, we really talked a lot about what to do to kind of get prepared for the year and make sure that you're starting the year off with great financial, goals and ways to kind of hopefully accomplish those with budgeting and all the rest. And so, what better way to do a little almost mid-year, a little after check-in.
Yes. Health check on your budget.
That's right.
We started off the year very strong with lots of goals that we have set for. I remember we had a guest speaker who shared so many amazing tips with us.
Yeah.
And honestly, just a few nights ago, my husband and I are going through a few things of, do we start looking into getting another car? Do we not?
Sure.
Many aspects, there's childcare, there's so many things that are happening, and we had to reevaluate our budget. And guess what? With that, you just mentioned the streaming services.
Yeah.
That is something that for us made most sense to bundle a few things and even pause a few things that we're not utilizing right now. So
for sure.
I would love today to even find out from you, like some creative ideas and ways to help our listeners take a look at their budget and see what they could do to cut down on some of that cost of living increase.
Definitely. Well, and being able to put a budget in place is so crucial, and then being able to kind of stick to that is the next step. But as we continue to think about it, and like you're saying, when things change, the environment around you changes, your situations change. So does your budget have to do the same? And to
Yes.
be able to have those moments to reevaluate and say, wow, you know, I'm not able to save as much as I thought I was. Why is that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, man, my grocery bill has, been up $50 every time I go.
Mm-hmm.
And, my streaming services or different things keep going up. So it's time to kind of reevaluate. And that is so crucial. It's funny you mentioned the car situation. My wife and I are also in the same
Oh,
boat where
great.
we're like, do we get a new car? Do we not get a new car? What do we do here on this situation? Because,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it is what makes financial sense into the
Correct.
budget.
Correct.
And I think, one thing that we've talked about a lot too, Aldina, is I think for every person, your budget will look different because everybody has a different um, goal in mind, but
Mm-hmm.
then there are different things that people want to accomplish with their finances.
Mm-hmm.
And so every budget can kind of look a little different. And, we want to make sure that you're able to, as listeners, use your money to the fullest advantage that you can with the things that you love to do
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily, have all these bills that you have to pay because no one wants to do that, right?
No, absolutely not.
So, but yeah, you mentioned about some ideas. One of the things that I again have noticed is those streaming services have continued to go up and
Mm-hmm.
up and up. From where some of these services started at $7.99, even $5.99 a month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of these services for the same amount, the same thing, are up to like 15 to 18 to even $20 a month. And it gets a little bit excessive after a
Yes,
while.
because all those little charges do add up eventually.
They
So when you
do.
look at your entertainment budget, which is all of the streaming services
Yeah.
fall into that category, you really start to look at it from a different lens because you're like, do I really need three different
Yeah.
providers to watch different shows? And
Yeah.
so, one way to reduce that cost is to take a look if you can downgrade on some
Yeah.
of those programs.
Great point.
So the biggest thing was for us, do we like watching ads? Do we not like watching ads? And you know what? For basically getting almost half off
Yeah.
on that streaming service, I don't mind watching 10 seconds of a commercial all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you know? So
Yeah.
it's basically looking at it from a different lens. So you
Yeah.
can downgrade on some of those for a time being. It doesn't have to be forever, or even pause that service. A big thing that helped us, there is something that we noticed that we can also bundle, where it was like storage on our phone and different,
Yeah.
the music platform and all of that. We were able to bundle that for a much, much better deal per
Yeah.
month as well, too. So those are just small things that you can do to kind of cut down on some of the cost of living increases. Um, you talked about food.
Yeah.
That is a big thing right now as well, and even that is something that you still need to eat.
Yes.
You need to feed your family, and that should be your priority.
And I'm a big eater.
So am I. I'm a total foodie.
Me
Food
too.
is actually my love language.
It is. Yeah. Same.
And you still continue to go to the grocery store and all of that, but even becoming a little bit more frugal with that,
Yeah.
potentially, sometimes not going with the brand name grocery items. We've talked about this in our previous episodes as well, too. That does make a huge difference as well when
Yeah.
you buy brand name versus the grocery store brand.
Right. Right.
We're off brand, in other words. Those things make a huge difference as well on your budget. And then, really, we talked about meal planning before. I'm a huge advocate for it. It works, and
Yeah.
just ensuring that you're not being wasteful and that you're only cooking so much that your family actually does want to eat.
Yeah.
Within eating, that also pertains your budget, which is also part of entertainment, is
Yeah.
going out to eat,
Oh boy. Yeah.
reevaluating that. Like, how often are you going out to eat
Yeah.
yourself, your family? That is the biggest and most easiest one to cut down on.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I'm been noticing already for us in the last probably 2 months,
Hmm.
just that habit of going and eating out more than what we used to.
Hmm.
And it adds up. And it's
Very
hard because
quickly.
for me, where my brain kind of was maybe justifying it as, well, groceries have gone up, so I mean, it's about a wash then, right? No, not really.
It really is not.
Not.
When you look at it, it really is
No.
not. Especially
No.
when you get that finished plate served to you and you look at it and you're like, this was, let's just say $25. For $25, I could have bought groceries for like several days to feed the
Right.
whole family,
Yeah. Well,
So,
and one thing I wanted to also kind of touch on when you were talking about groceries is, so my family, we've got a big box Costco type, Sam's Club type membership
yes.
for those more bulk purchases of groceries.
Mhm.
And for certain items, that's very economical. But one of
Absolutely.
the things that I've been noticing is become a habit, or maybe a bad habit, or just a byproduct of bulk buying,
Mhm.
is there's times where I'm like, I never actually finished all the food
I'm so glad
that
that
we
you
bought.
mentioned this.
And it seems like, oh, but I'm getting such a good deal because I'm getting so much more. But if you're not eating it all,
Mhm.
the value and the savings starts to change very quickly.
Correct.
That how much, per unit price that they show on the tags there, that changes when you lose out on 4 of the different items out of 8 that you had.
Exactly, because now you're wasting it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought up bulk buying.
Yeah.
That is something that I'm really big on as well. But with those items like toilet paper, paper towel, household
Yeah.
supplies, those do last you for a much
Yeah.
longer time and you're not wasting them. And it does make sense to purchase those in bulk and watching sales and all of that, which we also did another episode on
We
that too.
did.
I love that all of this is being tied in together.
I know,
because-
exactly. And what's great is for all of our listeners too, if again, you're just kind of tuning into Wallet Wisdom for the first time, we've got so much content in our library worth going back and listening to. And there's always fun little nuggets of information and ideas to think of. And, some of the things that we talk about, even on this episode, we go into even greater detail on in others. And so you definitely check it out. And, as always, we love to hear from you as well. So Wallet Wisdom at lmcu.org is a way to reach us and let us know, how your budgeting has been going for you as well. But, one of the things that, talking about going out to eat, though, is the discipline to say not today or to really stop that. And discipline is not my forte very well. It's
when you're hungry, you're hungry.
Exactly. Nothing can get in the way of that, right? But that discipline and the practice of discipline, it can show up in a lot of ways in different forms and how you practice that. Obviously, not going out to eat, but talking about budgeting and being disciplined on your budget, it kind of all starts to correlate.
Yes.
Your budget kind of helps to determine what you can say yes to and what you may have to say not right now. That's, I think, maybe one thing for listeners to think about is it doesn't have to mean no, never, ever.
Like a forever thing. This
Right.
is not a forever decision that you are
Right.
tied to.
It's is this a yes, I can do this, or is it a no, not right now? But it doesn't mean that you can't get to that place. It's just being disciplined and mindful of those types of things,
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing is with a budget is that you're not tied to it for a forever time. It is your budget. You
Yeah.
are completely 100% in charge of where your dollars are going. Ultimately, with the budget, all it is, it's you are telling it where are my dollars going. And one other very big thing that could be a huge improvement in cutting down cost of living, which, by the way, thank you, Brett, for inviting all of our listeners to drop in all of their information on, how their budget is going and all of that.
Yeah.
We also would love to hear what are some creative ways that you have cut down on some of
Absolutely.
the cost of
Yeah.
living. I'm always here to learn. So please fill me in.
Yeah, truly. You may be helping me even as well, because
Brett needs all the help.
I do. And, and I think that, one of the things we hope to with this podcast is that it does help to help listeners recognize, like, it's good to talk about these things.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to feel taboo or embarrassing to talk about finances. We help strengthen each other as
Yes.
people. And when we can kind of help give each other advice or suggestions, or more so even just what's been working for you, because that might actually be something that will work for me or work for
Yes,
you,
like
Aldina.
let's
Yeah,
walk this journey together.
that's
So,
right.
and the other two things I wanted to mention too, there's always a way to look at your current situation with your loans.
Yeah,
So, Brett, you've heard me talk about this before, but consider refinancing your loan.
yeah,
So, take a look at it. What is your interest rate? When did you get this loan? Was it a long, long time ago and you were in a situation where maybe your credit score wasn't strong
sure.
and you ended up with a bit of a higher interest rate? That is something you can definitely look into to get that rate down, and therefore your monthly payment will go down.
Yeah,
Um, Call your providers. I am really, really big on this. So call your health, or not your health, your auto insurance, your home insurance. Take a look, what is going
yeah,
on with your monthly premium? Is there any way to qualify for any form of discounts for being a long-term partner or
yeah,
client or
yeah.
whatnot? And same thing goes with your phone providers. They are always willing to take a look at where your current plan is and taking a look at, do you actually have the best deal?
That's a great
Some
idea.
employers even partner with some of the phone providers and they provide you an additional 10%, 15% off discount. So, those are the things that I would love everyone to take a look at. That's easy ways to cut down money. All you have to do, be willing to put some time aside, them a call, and see how much money they can save you.
Yeah. No, it is. It's about thinking of those kind of clever ways to create that margin in your
Hmm.
budget, and even like your internet and your cable bill,
Hmm.
calling them up and seeing what kind of promotions, anything to reduce that, 10, 15, $20. I mean, that $20 could be going to, say, even like an emergency fund. I mean, I'll tell
Yes.
you right now, one of the things that tends to be the hardest for me in my own finances is being disciplined to set that money aside
Hmm.
for savings and then not touch it. you
Hmm.
know, that can be so difficult sometimes for me. But those emergency funds, it's hard because I've kind of been in my own head about thinking like, oh, well, nothing's going to happen and it's going to be fine. And,
Hmm.
this and that. And, I've got a stable job and everything seems, good. But that's the reason there's an emergency fund, though.
Yes.
And
Life continues to happen.
that's right. That's
And
exactly
life is
right.
unexpected. You never know if there's going to be a car repair that comes up,
Yep.
or, a medical expense, or, even other situations
Yeah.
that are not as pleasant, such
Life throws a
as,
lot of curveballs
yes,
and unexpected. And, it's in those moments where you don't want to be thinking about, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for all this?
yes, that panic starts to kick in.
That's
And
right.
now you're adding stress. You are, questioning everything that you have done with your budget and all of that. And I know that we've even talked before, does it have to be a set percentage of your monthly income that goes into an emergency fund?
Right.
Or, how much should I put in to make myself feel better about this?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this. It can be a very, very small amount. Put $5 aside. Start with $5 per paycheck. If that
Yeah.
is all you can do right now, you are winning at life because you are still putting aside money.
Yeah.
So if anything were to happen and now all of a sudden you have $1,000 car repair that you are responsible for, well, guess what? If you saved up $500 of that, you
Oh,
are winning at life.
absolutely. It seems like almost notoriously anything that has to be done on a car is going to be somewhere close to $1,000, if not
Yes.
more, depending on it. And even if you had, it's such a great point. Even if you only had $500 in that emergency fund, that's $500 less that you then have to figure out
Correct.
how to come up with right away. Because
Correct.
coming up with $1,000 quickly is not always
Yes.
easy.
It hurts a little less, when
Yes.
you
Yeah.
have that cushion set aside and knowing that you can comfortably now move past this, that your car will get fixed, you will build up that emergency fund again, you
Yeah.
feel better about your financial situation
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, and I love that you made sure our listeners know it's less to do with the amount
Mm-hmm.
and more to do with the practice and the, again, that discipline. For me, that seems doable.
Mm-hmm.
$5 every paycheck. I
You
can do
won't
that.
even notice it.
Exactly. And then once that habit builds, then you start to, as you continue to reevaluate budget,
Mm-hmm.
you can look at it and say, I could do 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing because I've talked to some people who love to save. I've not been that type of person, but it's inspiring to hear from people who love to save and that they didn't always, but they fell in love with it. And then
Mm-hmm.
it became a challenge. Then it's like,
Yes.
let's see if I can save $20 this time.
Yes.
And,
Or
and
you set these like annual goals where you're like, by the
yeah,
end of the year, I want to have this much in my emergency fund. One thing I do have to say with this is if you are trying to create discipline and a
yeah,
habit out of it, try to potentially get this account in a way that is not as easy accessible to you. So
yeah,
if it means that you have to open a bank account separate from your primary account,
sure.
I strongly suggest that.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing too to consider is maybe some of our listeners have been starting to save.
Hmm.
Again, that's the goal, right? We hope that from
Yes.
earlier this year, you've been able to create some of that margin. You've been
Hmm.
able to find some ways to save and to kind of keep that fund padded a little bit.
Hmm.
There are some options to look into as well to kind of increase that return on what you've got. So, if you've starting to see that you've got some decent amount of savings in there and you can responsibly be able to take a little bit out, you could look at a CD. You could look at a
Yes.
home equity or more so like a money market account,
Hmm.
just to be able to get a little extra return on that money, especially if it's just kind of sitting there and
Yes.
collecting. Why not use that collecting and gaining interest on top of that, but also being able to access those funds as
Hmm.
well in case that emergency. That's where like a money market obviously is nice because you
Yes.
could be able to write checks right out of that account too
Yes.
if
It's
something
accessible
comes
to
up
you.
and not get really dinged with too much penalty or
Hmm.
anything. But yeah, there's a lot there for and hopefully listeners to be able to start getting some of new ideas as well, and
Hmm.
maybe some ideas that you're already implementing. And again, that's why we want to hear from you.
Yes.
walletwisdom@lmcu.org. Great way for us to connect with you as well. And yeah, we love it. So yeah, I'll tell you, it's not the easiest thing. Saving can be tough, but
Can be
and it
tough.
can feel daunting when you see prices around you going up. But we know with some discipline and just talking to each other, and I love how you said it too, Aldina. Reach out to your financial institutions as well.
Hmm.
There are some great resources to help you to consolidate and to maybe find ways to keep saving and use your money wisely.
Absolutely. Again, you're telling where your money is going and how you want your money to serve you as well
Yeah.
too. I mean, you're working really hard for it. So let's
Yeah.
have fun with it as well too.
That's
Let's
right.
walk through life. I mean, budgeting does not need to be a daunting task.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is you being in control of your own money and kind of having fun along the way with it as well too. So
Yes.
the beautiful thing is too that we are in this journey together. We all should and
Yes.
are budgeting in one way or another. So why not do these things? And please share all of your tips and tricks of how you are currently doing and saving.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear those.
Absolutely. Well, and the last thing too, I'll say is thinking about budgeting, knowing that we've got holidays coming up. There's so
Oh
many different
yes.
things that, I know listeners and myself included, it's that time of year where we want to be cheerful and generous, but having a sound budget is what will allow you to be joyfully able to know that I can be generous, but I don't necessarily have to break the bank on it. I've
Yes.
budgeted for it and I've
Hmm.
planned for it. and stay disciplined on it.
Yes, and it's definitely not too late
That's right.
in the year. I know there's some who start as soon as the holidays are over, they're already starting to put aside money for the following year.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that, that is okay. Start now.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, well, again, for listeners, we just hope that these episodes continue to help bring you closer to your financial goals and to hopefully bring some wisdom for your wallet. Ha! See what I did there? But as always, just love being able to sit down, Aldina, with you, and you've got so much wisdom as well, and I know you've got a lot of that as practice as well. And
I love talking about finances and ways how people can just enjoy life and not be bothered by the stress that comes with their finances.
I tell you, I learned so much from you, and
Thank
hopefully
you.
listeners the same. And be sure to check us out. Again, we're
Yes, please.
LMCU on Facebook, Instagram. We're on LinkedIn and Twitter. Check us out, Wallet Wisdom, on all podcasting services, including Apple Music and Spotify. So check us out, share us with a friend, and again, send us an email. Talk to us. We love hearing from you guys. So
Yes.
awesome.
Stay in touch.
That's right. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. The information provided in this podcast by Lake Michigan Credit Union is general education or marketing in nature and is not intended to be accounting, legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Statements of individuals are their own, not LMCU's. All topics discussed are information of a general nature and do not address the circumstances of any particular individual or entity. Consult an appropriate professional concerning your specific situation. As of the date of publishing and any future date this podcast is broadcast, all rates, fees, payments, or other specific figures discussed are subject to change and are dependent upon your specific financial situation. All loan products discussed are subject to credit and collateral approval. You alone assume the sole responsibility of evaluating the merits and risks associated with the use of any information or other content in the podcast before making any decisions based on such information or other content. In exchange for listening to the podcast, you agree not to hold LMCU, its affiliates, or any third-party service providers liable for any possible claim or damages arising from any decision you make based on information or other content made available to you through the podcast. For more information on any of the content discussed in this podcast, please visit lmcu.org. Copyright Lake Michigan Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender, LMCU, NMLS ID number 442967.